This week, we're meeting up with good buddy Chris Douglas, the host of Carolina All Out.
Bear's going up a tree. The dogs are chopping right now.
We're heading down to Pasquotank County to chase bears with Doug and Wade Temple and their hounds.
They cross this road here, and now they're going down side the road. The bear walk down the road a long ways.
If you've never been on a bear hunt with hounds, don't miss this show.
The Live the Wildlife crew is heading to Pasquotank County to partake in an old Carolina tradition. Meeting up with Carolina houndsman Wade Temple, Gus and Jimmy and good friend Chris Douglas are about to traverse the thick, swampy underbrush in pursuit of black bear.
A couple of dogs here.
You know, one of the greatest things about this show is I get to hunt all over the world. I get to interact with so many different people. And one of the cool things for me this year was to go down to North Carolina and hunt with hounds. I've had people actually tell me that, you know, this isn't real hunting, but I got to tell you something. Some of the roughest, toughest terrain I've ever been through, I mean, it tears you apart.
Well, some dogs have jumped in here. We don't know what kind of bear that they're going to be bringing out this way. We're going to follow Butterbean down here and try to line up this road. This is classic hound hunting. You're lining up a road, you're lining up this block, you're going to try to keep anything that's trying to get out from going over that side. There's a canal right over here, deep water. Once it gets over on that side, we just don't know. But here they go, here it comes.
You know, I was born and raised in North Carolina, hunted all my life, and hunting with dogs is just a part of our tradition and what we do.
Hunting with hounds is a tradition that has been around for centuries. The amount of work, time, and money put into training and raising these dogs is unparalleled.
Keep the kennels clean and cut down on the flies. Won't too many flies get around here. Keep a pack of dogs, or even one dog, 5 dogs, 10 dogs. It's 24/7.
The Temple family are true houndsmen. Their history of raising and hunting with dogs goes back to over 130 years.
I think I'm probably very blessed to come out of a long line of hunters. I was taught by some of the best, and I hope to pass it on to another generation.
If there was ever someone who knew the ins and outs of training a pack of hunting hounds, Wade and Doug Temple would be the ones to ask.
Wade and his dad, Doug, just the coolest people I've ever met. You know, just hardcore houndsmen who just love what they do.
So, Mr. Doug, how many years has your family been doing this?
Over 100 years we've been bear hunting.
Started out with your grandfather, and his name was
Cortez.
Cortez Temple.
Right. Been bear hunting all of life. My grandfather, he bear hunted, and there's several books wrote about the Dismal Swamp, and he's mentioned in those about bear hunting in eastern North Carolina. We were probably raised poor. All we had was a pickup truck, and that was what we worked in, went to church in. I said that was the whole 9 yards, hunted in, everything else.
Any big differences you've seen over the years from when you first got started in it to what it is today?
Well, used to when we first started in here, like these roads wasn't here. You either had to go down the old railroad. They had railroads in here is what they done. You go down a railroad tracks, what you'd go down is what we headed the dogs on, and wasn't very many of them. You didn't have tracking collars or anything. You just had listen to the dog, and a lot of times every which direction the dog went, you'd set your compass, and then they'd go out of here and you keep on going, and usually they would tree or bait a bear and you'd catch up with them. But sometimes if they turned, you know, or got windy, you'd be a week getting your dogs back.
Gus and Jimmy and Carolina all-out host Chris Douglas have teamed up with Doug and Wade Temple looking for black bear. Houndsman blood has been running through the Temple's veins for well over a century. After several days with no luck, the team finally hears the sound they've been waiting for.
We're walking and bathing right now, trying to get Gus a shot. Other than that, we're just waiting on him to come out or we go in.
Once you hear these dogs going after a bear, I mean, it's just incredible.
That music might not get everybody's blood going, but it gets mine going. And any houndsman out there that's watching this, you know what I'm talking about when you hear that. There's excitement to that.
You know, being raised up in North Carolina, I've come to love the sound of the hound. It's called mountain music sometimes because it truly is music to people's ears who have especially put so much time and dedication into the hound. And they can tell by listening what is going on with the hound at the time. They can tell if the hound is potentially moving, following a bear, if he's baying with the bear, darting in and out. There's a lot of things that really denote what is going on with that hound in his game to be able to speak with his voice and let you know what's going on.
You know, it's pretty cool to watch the dogs work. That's what most of this hunt is about. Everything that goes into them working as a pack, as a team. You know, just all that cooperation between the dogs and the owner that makes this hunt so exciting. But let me tell you something. Once those dogs get on that bear and they start chasing him or bay him up, and you have to get through some of the thickest, nastiest briars I've ever been through to get to that bear, it's an adrenaline rush that I've rarely experienced in any other type of hunting.
This is some tough walking. I mean, you're coming through these thorns and these briars here, and although I got protective clothing, I don't think I got all over my hands and now I guess my face. So it's a lot of fun going through this, but it's rough travel.
What we got over here is a cub that the dogs have treated. He's moving up and down. He's trying to find his place to make his escape. Now we're not going to take this cub, of course. We're going to let him go and let him grow. But you kind of see how this whole thing works. Dogs are trailed up a bear, they jump them, they move as far as they care to, and then they're going to go up a tree if they can, or they're going to bay. They're going to bay up in thick brush to protect their rear end, protect themselves, and so that's what you got. Now, this guy's moving around on the tree. He's eventually going to come down, and then it'll be another chase on him. But we don't want to waste our time so much with this, letting the dogs wear themselves out on this bear. We're going to pick up the dogs and get them on another track.
That's what bear hunting's all about. Saving your little ones for the future.
Conservation.
That's right. Now let me put my belt back on before I lose my pants.
Oh, yeah. North Carolina has some of the biggest bear in North America, and that's from Canada. You know, New Jersey has giant bear, but I think by far North Carolina has the biggest. And there's a couple of reasons. Number one, they have a really short winter, if any winter at all, so the hibernation is almost non-existent. The crops, the agriculture that are there, these animals feed, they have plenty of food to eat, and the great cover that's there really allows these animals to mature and get some age on them.
Pasquotank County is one of the smallest counties in the state, named after the Pasquotank River. The word Pasquotank is delivered from the Algonquin word Pasquotanki, which means where the current of the streams divide into forks. Pasquotank County is considered one of the finger counties of northeastern North Carolina. Barely 16 feet above sea level at its highest point, the county is bordered by the Pasquotank River to its east the Great Dismal Swamp to its north, and the Albemarle Sound to its south. Vast farmland, well drained by the labyrinth of canals, bordered by dense timber tracks and tidal creeks, makes this the perfect place for giant coastal black bears to hide and grow.
What we got here is a bear track on the road, and being it's a little late in the morning, track's not that fresh, so what we're trying to do is find where the track goes into that bush, let the dogs go on that track, and hopefully they can pick up the trail in the bush where it's a little fresher scent.
Things a little better than what we seen this morning.
Yeah, that's a good bear.
Is that what you're looking for, Gus?
I think so, man. There's a couple there.
Yeah.
After several close encounters with smaller bears, the guys have decided to change locations.
He's taller than.
He's bigger than the other one I seen this morning.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I say. See how tall he is. He's been.
Trail cameras show several huge black bears in the area, and although the team has had no problem finding bears over the past few days, a truly huge North Carolina Bruin has so far eluded them.
If he gets across one path, he'll go to another one, so we ain't in no big hurry, you know what I'm saying.
You got it, Mr. Doug. I'm ready. I'm ready for him.
Cool thing about this is you go in, the bear's been on that bait, they check the trail camera, we find a bear we want to go after, and bam, we release the dogs, and now the chase is on.
Well, we are turning into cavalry, so to speak. Dogs have trailed that bear up, but now they've got him moving, so now they're going to turn in the other dogs. There's some young dogs in that, and that's part of the training process for these puppies. They look like grown dogs, but they're young.
So this is one of those hunts where we hear the dogs running, we hear coming towards us, we're running down the road. I have my bow in an Army duffel bag. That's what I use while I'm down there. It's the only thing I could think of to get my bow through this brush and briars safely without tearing my bow apart and be able to open it up quickly and get my shot. I didn't get my bow out quick enough because here comes this bear. He jumps into the drainage, which is filled with water. Next thing you know, he's coming right up our way. I'm trying to get my bow out. You know, it was just chaos. Trying to get an arrow knocked, get a shot off. Dogs are chasing, but, you know, the excitement level's through the roof.
Well, that was pretty intense. We just get down the road. That bear come running out with them dogs. We didn't have the bow out of the case.
So this all happens, and you know, like I said, the excitement level's through the roof, and I'm just sitting there going, okay, I'm not going to put the bow back into that duffel bag because I need to be prepared in case this bear comes again. And sure enough, we hear the dogs circling, and here comes this bear, and they're running them back towards us again. So I thought the shot was good. It was only a 20-yard shot. The bear had turned, but I squeezed the shot off just when I needed to, and I thought it was a good shot, but again, if you don't see the animal go down, you never know about the shot. But the cool thing was we had dogs who were tracking this bear, but the bear only went about 70 or 80 yards. We recovered him, and it was just an incredible, incredible experience.
One shot down. I told you I hit him.
Something. I just about put money on it. That's a head right there. Yeah, he's a big head.
Let me get around.
I don't know what to say, man. This is just an incredible bear and a great time down here with the Temples. Doug and Wade, they just worked their butts off to get on this bear, and the dogs are really the star of the show. They run this bear up once. I couldn't get a shot at him on the road, and they run him by me a second time. He just come up in the grass, and I got a shot, and it was a single shot, and that meant a lot to me because, you know, the guys down here usually use slug rifles, and that's how they take their bears. I mean, this stuff is so thick, it's not conducive to a bow shot or a bow hunt. And we were kind of hoping we get the bear treed and I can get a shot at him, but this bear come running up, and I drew back and took the shot, and one arrow put him down, and he didn't go very far at all. And you know, that meant a lot to me, to kind of show these guys what a bow can do. And again, I'm just so happy to have this bear, and Had my first bear ribs today, so I can't wait to get some of this meat and get him processed and tagged up, and we're gonna get him out of here now. Well, hunting down in North Carolina is just an incredible trip, and it was even cooler when I told the story to Chip Honeycutt from Arcus Hunting, because Chip is from North Carolina. He's born in North Carolina. Now, here's a guy who was born there who's never got to experience this bear hunt, and it's been on his bucket list. And I've already done it twice. So for me, bringing Chip along with me on my next hunt was a no-brainer. Here's a guy who's wanted to do this his whole life, and he was going to get the chance to do it, and I was going to be with him.
Telling you what, I'm stoked. Something's gonna bleed. Probably a little bit of me. Yeah, shooting a 44 Magnum with 305 grain Corbin bullets. They're doing about 1,300 feet per second. That's about almost 1,200 foot-pounds. It's gonna open them up. All I gotta do is get it in the right spot.
So Chip was going to be using a handgun on this hunt. I've never been with anybody on this bear hunt who used a handgun. They all use rifles, and like I said, I used a bow. And I've never hunted with Chip before, but it was incredible, because you know what? You felt that excitement through Chip. Look, I don't care who you are and how many times you've done it. If you hear those dogs barking, if you hear them starting to chase, man, the excitement level is unbelievable.
Stay in.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Dude, it got turned on in a hurry.
It's nice, man.
We're up here in eastern North Carolina, where hunting bears with dogs is a long-standing tradition. And as you can see, this is about the only way to get to these bears with dogs. It's so thick up in here. And we found this one. The dogs got on him pretty quick, but he stayed in this thick part. He just kept running back up and down the block. So finally we came in the end and forced our way through some of the thickest stuff I've ever seen. And I grew up in North Carolina. And it was just a matter of getting the dogs to give me an opening. And one of the dogs peeled off, gave me a shot, and 44 put him down right here. Great bear. North Carolina has the largest black bears in the world because they're in a large agricultural area, and then they like to hide up in these thick places where you can't get to them. So they just grow big down here. So some great bear hunting here in eastern North Carolina.
Chip draws his pistol, makes a great shot, drops the bear right where he was. And that was the coolest thing for me, was I never realized the stopping power that pistol had. But Chip made a great shot. That bear dropped right where he was. There was no tracking after that shot. And again, we got to just experience a great hunt.
I guarantee you, that thing flat, put the hammer on it.